friends, McKenna here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing some writing sprints. I am doing these in collaboration with these amazing people. Their channels will be linked in the description box down below. So here's the plan for today. Today we're going to be doing two 25-minute writing sprints with a 5-minute break in between where we will talk about some writing and encouragement. So stick around for those and let's get started. Y'all got this. 25 minutes down. You guys are awesome. Let me know what you guys have been working on in the comment section below. What part of the drafting process are you in? Are you in the editing process? I am in the editing process, and I'm in that process with a few different projects. So I've been kind of hopping around. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my project and what I'm working on in editing. And you guys tell me about yours. So I'm working on another historical fiction. I'm calling it the Yellow Fever Project for now, and I'm on the 8th draft of it, which is a lot of drafts. It takes place during the yellow fever epidemic of 1793 in Philadelphia, and it has been so much fun to explore that time frame. There's a lot of political turmoil going on, and there's a lot of, obviously, turmoil with the illness that comes and just uproots so many people's lives. It's been a lot of fun to explore those different possibilities through the eyes of my protagonist, who is a 17-year-old girl named Deborah, and she is wanting to be a doctor, and she gets the opportunity to learn more about medicine through this, and I've gotten the opportunity to learn a lot more about historical medicine through this, and it's been a challenge considering there's not a lot of books about this specific epidemic, but it's also such a big part of American history that is left out. I mean, Philadelphia lost a lot of people. Another thing that's been interesting about researching this is having just gone through the COVID pandemic and just seeing the differences between what we just went through and what happened in 1793. Definitely lots of changes in medicine and just the way of tackling an epidemic, but you'd also be surprised about how many things are the same, such as the quarantining. Another big part of this book is exploring identity. Deborah has a lot of complicated relationships with her family members, more specifically her mother, where she is constantly in this battle to win over her affection and please her. And as her mother leaves, she sees this as not only an opportunity to explore her passions, but to also prove to her mother that her passions are realistic and that she is capable of pursuing them. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. And with the love interest, he kind of has a similar conflict, but in a different light. He is constantly in this battle of trying to prove that his last name doesn't define him, the actions of his family does not define him, that he is a different person than they are. And that's also been a really cool dynamic, seeing how Deborah and the love interest have not been able to openly be together because of the conflicts, which in reality are so similar, that are pushing them apart. So there's a bit about my project, 8th draft. That has been a journey. In the next break, I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about that and giving you some editing encouragement if you are in the editing process. But for now, enjoy the rest of your break. Get yourself a coffee, get yourself a snack. Another 25-minute is coming up soon. You guys got this. break's over. Are you guys ready to dive back in? Let's get into it. Another 25 minutes down. You guys are legends. Now, before you run off, I've got some editing encouragement for you. But real quick before that, if you are not done with your writing sprints, there are some writing sprints on these beautiful people's channels that you can go check out. As I said, this is a part of a collab. So over the past few days, they've been posting writing sprints. And then for the next few days, there will be more writing sprints. So if you are in the middle of a writing challenge right now, or if you've got a deadline coming up, these are great. Feel free to go check those out in the description and set a reminder for tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. How many days is this going on? Now also, if you are in the editing process like me, I know how discouraging it can be being on the 8th draft and still not being done. I want to encourage you, and also encourage myself, that writing a book is not a race. Writing a book and forming a great story takes time, effort, and it is an incredible accomplishment. No matter if you are publishing when you're 45, publishing when you're 77, or if you're publishing when you're 16, there is no rush, there's no race, there is no deadline that says you have to start now and you have to publish by this date. Take your time, form your craft, make something that you can be proud of, marketing, and that you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, I did that. I know that the process seems to drag on and on and on, and you start to wonder, oh my gosh, is this ever going to be done? But God gave you this story for a purpose that's going to bring him glory if you allow him to work through you. And trust me, there's nothing more beautiful than collaborating with the author of your story. And if this isn't your first book and you've published a few times and you feel just underwater, that nobody knows who you are, nobody has seen your stuff, no matter how hard you work on it, no matter how many times you edit, no matter how much you market, you just feel like you can't push past this invisible barrier, I feel you. Keep going. Somebody who needs the message that you are screaming from the rooftops with the story. And it might be that one thing that encourages them to take another step in this journey of life. Or maybe the person that needs the story that you're writing is you. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. Stick with it. And maybe you're not writing a book, maybe you're writing a play or a script of some sort. And I also want to encourage you in that you will get your breakthrough one day if you keep going. The one mistake that so many writers make is giving up. They write the first draft, they refuse to edit anymore, they query a few times, they get rejections, they contact theaters a few times, they give up, they say it's not worth it, nobody wants my stuff. Do not give up. When you give up, you are solidifying your failure. Now for you guys, if you have one piece of encouragement, one piece of advice that you would give to writers who are in the middle of the editing process, please comment it down below. Let's encourage one another. I definitely need some encouragement. And off you go, little storytellers. Go write a story that the world needs to hear. I love you guys. See you in the next one.